let me turn it off.
Cool. All right, we're going. So welcome, guys. I am Adam McMath. I am the Executive Director and President of Black Alphabet Not-for-Profit. We are a not-for-profit based in Chicago, Illinois. And our main event every year is the Black Alphabet Film Festival, which is happening beginning on the 16th of November. And one of the films in Black Alphabet Film Festival this year is Playground, written, directed, and produced by Chase Parker. And Chase is joining me now. How are you doing, Chase?
I'm doing good. It's Friday morning. It's Friday afternoon here. I'm in New York, so I'm just enjoying the day. The sun is out, and I'm just taking it one day at a time. Hopefully this election rules in the favor of, I'm not sure what your political views are, but personally, I don't really want to talk about my political views, but the person who I'm expecting to win is currently winning, so.
Yeah, and by the time people view this, we hopefully, knock on wood, we'll have an answer. So, so let's talk a little bit about you. So, tell us about your career so far as a filmmaker and as an artist, and kind of your trajectory getting you from the beginning to producing Playground.
Well, I started around 2000. I really want to say, I say 2013, 2014, but really I want to say like 2012 when I was in college. That's when I started getting interested in film in general. I didn't go to film school. I have no like professional, no certification or anything like that. It was really just something that I was interested in. And in college, I wrote the script for my first ever short film. It was called City Kids. And when I got out of school and I came home, I proceeded to try and put it together. And it literally took me 2 years to get it from start to finish. And that's from script to screen, simply because I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue. I just knew I wanted to make films. And however I was going to put it together, I was going to put it together. But I learned so much throughout that process and proceeded to make 4 more short films, which were also not the best, not the ones that I'm the most proud of. But again, going back to the fact that I didn't really have much experience, I pretty much took it one project at a time. And as I grew working on my craft, and I grew with the love of filmmaking and the passion of filmmaking, I met so many people along the way, and it has brought me to what you see now, Playground, and for the future that holds.
Very cool. So you say you didn't have formal training?
Yes.
What did you study in college?
I studied communication because, like every other college student, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I picked the easiest subject. But I knew I was interested in the media and television and film industry. I just didn't know what capacity I wanted to be in. And when I was in high school, I did an internship with HBO, and my mentor, who I still speak to this day, thankfully, he was a big film guy. And every time we spoke and every time we met up, we would always speak about films that have come out. He would ask my opinion. And then every time we met, we would go see a film. So that sort of grew the interest, and that's dating back to high school. And I guess once college came, the interest kind of sparked a little bit further. I took a film studies class, and that's when I was like, you know what, I think this is something that I really want to do. And then obviously going up to my junior and senior year, I really wanted to get more into directing. And here I am now.
So I had a mentor once that said, I don't look up to people, I look at people. Who do you look at as an inspiration in film and video?
I'm a big fan of Antoine Fuqua. He is like one of my biggest favorites. We can go down a list of like the top directors, but some of the small time directors, Pete Chapman, who does a lot of TV directing. He's done Insecure. He's done Blackish. And I mean, we could run off like the Quentin Tarantinos and the Scorseses and things of that nature. Spike Lee, obviously, another big proponent in my inspiration, simply because he's from New York, and a lot of his films are based in New York. And to see the experience of some of the characters in his film, things that I've experienced, things that I've had friends experience growing up in this city, it's really a reflection of my own experience as well. So definitely Spike Lee is a big person that I look at. But personally, like I don't really have a problem looking up to somebody. I think if they inspire you, however they do, whether they inspire you to be a better version of yourself or they inspire you to sort of take the path that they've taken, I have no problem with looking up to people and giving people who have, showing love to the people who have inspired me.
Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about the movie that we're screening at our festival this year, Playground. What inspired this story?
It started off with a conversation I was having with a friend of mine. We were talking about things that are still sort of taboo in the Black community. And this was well before the whole Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith entanglement situation. We were actually speaking about them because it has been rumored that they were in some form of an open relationship and that they were swingers. And I had a friend that said, even if they are swingers, like, why is that such a taboo thing? Why is that so bad? Like, if that's what they do in their relationship, I think they should have the freedom to do it. And I thought, like, wow, like that would really be a great story to tell, like, especially for Black people. Like, we don't see too many conversations around sex when it comes to, and, open relationships when it comes to people in the Black community. So I figured, why not make a story around it? And I actually spoke to a Black couple who both of them are swingers. And it was just interesting how, although they, are in this open relationship, they still have the utmost love for each other and the utmost unconditional love for each other. So it's just so interesting. And I felt, why not tell a story around that?
So it's interesting to me. And the reason why this film spoke to me is, and I'm sure you remember when Monique and her husband came out and said they're in an open relationship.
Yes.
And how people are, were a little judgy when she came out and said that. And I think the thought of an open relationship is still a little bit taboo in a film, but in the film, not in the film, but in life. But this film is not just about them opening up the relationship, so to speak. This film is really about a couple that is having issues with communication. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. I think the deeper dive into this film is really the intricacies of marriage. And being with somebody so long, you don't know how to communicate what, is the issue. If you really look at the film, the issue is not them wanting to be in an open relationship. The issue is having their voices heard. Their issue is having some level of intimacy. For the male character, Andre, his version of intimacy is sex. And in Julie's point in the film, her level, what intimacy means to her is compassion, is, romance. And that disconnect between those two, as you can see in the film, you had the white character, Colin, saying all these wonderful romantic things to her, and that, intrigued her. Whereas on the other side, you had Madison, the white character, being this aggressive sexual, I hate to use this word, but like this sexual aggressive beast in a sense. And I don't say that to have any disrespect to her character, but that's what Andre wanted. And when he got it, he didn't really know how to handle it. And the same with Julie's character. When she got the intimacy, the romance, the compassion that she got, she couldn't handle it because it wasn't coming from her husband, and the same with Andre, it wasn't coming from his wife. So that's really the deep dive in this film is about the intricacies of marriage and how miscommunication can end up both couples doing something that they really don't want to do, but they felt like this was the way to save their marriage.
Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about the process, because I'm always interested in what it takes. As a filmmaker, I know the experience, but our audience is always interested in what it takes to complete a film. How many days did you shoot? What were kind of some of the,
so overall
dramatic moments?
Oh Lord, we had a lot. Well, for one, this was a very low budget film. Mm-hmm. And if you ask me how many days we shot 2 days, but it was within a span of 2 months. So we shot one day in June, and we didn't shoot until the end of July for one day as well, simply because of scheduling. So we were a little bit unprepared in a sense in some cases. Again, we were working with a very low crew. We called in a lot of favors to people. We had locations set, and then things turn around and we don't have that location anymore. So we have to figure out another one. Then we have a cast member who has a vacation for a week, and then now we got to wait till they get back. So it was a lot of turmoil throughout this entire process. But I really want to give credit to the cast and the crew for sticking it out. Our final day of shooting, we shot from about 5 o'clock in the afternoon till about 5 o'clock in the morning. And everybody stuck with it for the whole 12 hours throughout the night. We were all tired, and I think these are the moments that really call the true testament to a filmmaker and a director to keep the morale up. When it's 3 o'clock in the morning, everybody's tired, the food, the crafty is all out, the water is all out, and you still have to keep people motivated in order to give you the best performance. It really calls a testament to a filmmaker, and I tip my hat to any other filmmaker who was able to do that throughout the process. But yeah, if you ask me directly, I will tell you 2 days. But within those 2 days, it took a span of about 2 months. And then we got post-production, which took about 3 months. It was a long process. It was a really long process, from my own nitpickiness. I can admit that I was being a little annoying when it came to the post-production process. And I was being very meticulous in editing and how the scene is going to be cut and the pacing and things of that nature. But thankfully, it's all worked to its benefit. So it was a long process, but I tilt my hat to all the cast and crew who were involved in this process, who stuck with it.
Cool. And so I'm gonna sidestep really quick. So I personally say that independent filmmakers are the best prepared people to try to get things done during a pandemic. Have you been able to create during this pandemic?
I have just like a little like silent films here and there, 2-3 minutes within reason. I think the best thing about this pandemic for a filmmaker is that you can take the entire process to yourself. You don't have to put together an entire crew. So I invested in like my own camera and stuff like that. And it's helped me because it's given me more of an opportunity to see what type of framing that I like, what type of angles and things of that nature, what type of performance I like, so that when I do get back to having a crew, I can articulate what I want much better and have a better film and for the next project. So if anything, I think this pandemic I didn't really look at this pandemic situation as like, I need to get content out, I need to get a film together. I really took this opportunity to build the craft much better and work on myself much better. So it worked out to my benefit.
Very cool. So back to the film. When people watch this film, what do you want them to walk away with?
One, and this is particularly people in the Black community. Obviously, clearly, I'm Black, but I do.
Me too.
Yeah, very true. Um, but I do want them to be more comfortable with the conversation around sex. I want them to be more comfortable with the conversation of marriage and what, hopefully if married couples, husbands, wives are watching this, I really want to use this as an opportunity to figure out how can they be better at communicating in their marriage or their relationship. And I'm not saying, become swingers, but if that's an option, like, don't be afraid of it. Don't think because of what society says or what we say personally in the Black community, that you should astray from it. If it's something that you're interested in, why not try it? I think now, in this time that we're in, you see a lot of conversations happening and a lot of people standing up for themselves and not allowing themselves to be chastised because of what they enjoy sexually or emotionally and things of that nature. So if it's something that you are interested in, something that you enjoy, go ahead and try it. But at the same time, if you do find that you are having communication issues in your marriage or any type of issues in your marriage, use this film as a way to figure out how can you get on the same page with your spouse, partner, or whatever.
Yeah, it's called Don't Yuck Somebody Else's Yum.
Yes.
That's what I call it. So
I don't know if I could curse, but what you eat don't make me shit.
This is not a family show, so all good. Okay, so what's next for you?
Next, I'm actually working on another short film, which is going to be a precursor to a feature film. It's sort of like a Jordan Peele-esque type of film. It's again about the things that are going on in the Black community. And one thing I like to say about Playground, the reason why I was so adamant about doing this film is because if you look at the characters, they come from like prestigious backgrounds. You have Andre, who's a doctor, his wife is also an educated woman. And I think it's imperative that we continue to show Black people in that light, because whenever we see these movies where they're depicting Black people, it's always the kid from South Central who overcame the microaggressions. And that's, to be honest, that's not every Black person's experience in this country, in this world. There are Black people who grew up in the suburbs and, they had both parents raising them well. They went to a private school. So we can't just look at issues in the Black community as just, racism, police brutality, and poverty. There are so many other issues that we can speak about. Mental health is obviously, that's the big conversation right now. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing that I really wanted to depict in this film, is to show you that you can have a Black couple who, although they have some issues in their marriage, but lead pretty good lives. Like, they're not some struggling in the hood, living in Section 8 housing. No disrespect to anybody who lives in Section 8 housing, but it doesn't depict that. It depicts a well-established couple. So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. But going back to the future, again, Jordan Peele-esque film. I don't want to give away too much of it, but it does deal with our issues in the Black community, particularly light skin versus dark skin conversation, which it's a conversation that I'm really trying to kill. I'm really trying to diminish this conversation of light versus dark, because at the end of the day, we're all Black.
Yeah, I love a conversation about colorism, and a conversation about colorism, not only just in the larger Black community, but if you look at colorism in the Black LGBT community, it's also a thing that shouldn't really be a thing. But to that end, we obviously need more content and to talk about that topic more.
Yes, definitely.
Cool. So thank you so much, Chase, for joining us. Do you have any final words?
You can follow me on Instagram
Yes,
at
yes,
Parker's
yeah.
Paradise.
Give us all your social.
My Instagram is Parker's Paradise, ParkersParadise, and that's also my Twitter. I'm on Instagram more than I am Twitter, just fair warning. I do have a YouTube channel, but I don't really post too much content there. But you can go on my YouTube channel, Chase Parker. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much only social media handles that I deal with.
Okay, cool. And then I do want to mention to our audience that for the first time this year, Black Alphabet Film Festival is giving out audience awards. So if you are watching these films and you love them, make sure you rank the films. We'll divide them into short, feature, and documentaries. And whoever gets ranked best in each category will get our audience award. So please participate in that if you can. And Chase, obviously, if you have friends that want to participate in that, I tell people stack the deck, just and make it happen.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Chase, for joining us, and we will be in contact.
Yes, thank you so much, Adam. I want to thank Black Alphabet Film Festival so much for picking my film and screening it.
Anytime. And then hopefully we have a decent election result by the time people
I hope so.
do this.
I hope so.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.